How's it going, guys? I wanted to do this video, a little bit of a reflection in what I believe Tim Tszyu should do next. These are my thoughts. This is what I think. This is my opinion. Feel free to comment on your opinion. But this is my video, in my opinion. So it's just, you know what I mean? I'm just going to say that. There's always people that want to come and hijack and sometimes I play along, let's say, and it derails the whole point and everything I want to talk about. And it's kind of people that listen on the archive are like, yeah, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? So let's just talk about Tim Tszyu and what he should do next. Now, all of it is my opinion, all of it. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying that my word is gospel. But it is my opinion. I do feel strongly about this, and I do think this is the pathway moving forward, if he's going to move forward at all, right? If whatever Tim Tszyu decides to do, he's going to decide to do. Now, I've listened to a lot of people's takes. I went into like a little bit of I spent like 2 hours listening to different people's takes on Tim Tszyu and what he should do next, and some opinions I thought were way off, but hey, that's their opinion. Some opinions I thought were pretty close to how I feel about it. Um, but even the people that are way off, I feel have some good points, and the people that I feel strongly with, there's some things I disagree with still, right? So it's always good to listen to everybody. There's been a lot of criticisms of Tim Tszyu, his management, his trainer, his team around him, his promotional outfit. That's no limit. There's been a lot of questions about the moves that they've made. And you've heard me talk about it. Look, I can't go back and I can't correct the past. I'm not, Doctor Strange. I can't do anything about that, right? But with that said, what we can do is reflect and learn, right? And if we don't reflect and learn in life, then what the hell are we doing? Shout out to Bruce Goss and Jesus Sam. How's it going? You need to learn from mistakes. You need to learn from circumstances. You need to learn from human behavior. You need to learn from everything that happens is for a reason. And I don't mean like, oh, it's meant to be. It's meant to happen. That's not what I mean by that, right? What I mean by that is everything happened for a reason. When I say that, I mean you got to look at the stones. How many of them do you not turn? You have to look at the circumstances and the footsteps you took and why you ended up here and how you need to learn from it and make sure it doesn't happen again. Not in that way. Right? So, first order of business is I do think Tim needs to like just get his mind off of boxing first. That's the first thing, right? He needs to think very he needs to be clear. He needs to have his mind clear a little bit. And he needs to reflect, right? First, he needs to not think about boxing at all. Go enjoy time with your family. Go do whatever. Go travel somewhere. Go on a vacation on a beach somewhere in front of a beautiful ocean or something and chill. Just enjoy life. Enjoy the fruits of your labor first, right? The purpose of your life, which would be in this case, his family. Like, go enjoy that first, right? And do that first because once you do that, then you're going to ask yourself, do I want to go back to the ring? Do I want to go back to training? And if the answer is yes, if you still have that drive, you're going to know after that. So, but he first needs to do that. That sounds easy, and I'm sure he'll do that. But he needs to literally like stay off of social media. Don't read the comments. Don't come on YouTube and watch dudes like D Style give you their opinions. Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't whether they're good or bad or indifferent. Don't watch anything like cold turkey. All of it. Communicate only with your immediate family and your close friends, and just escape for a couple of weeks. Just go do that first. That's first order of business. After that's done, he's going to have to, again, like I said, ask yourself that if the answer is that, you know what, I made my millions, I'm good, I'm chill, I don't want to get back in the ring, then he needs to be real with himself and know, okay, well, I'm done. But if he still has a drive and he still wants to, go out there and wants to keep shadow boxing and punching bags and hitting mitts and training and he's got that itch to do it again and then do it. But now the reflecting part comes in. He has a lot of reflecting to do. A lot of the people that didn't like the fact that Tim Tszyu was working with PBC and didn't like the fact that Tim Tszyu and his management were hell bent on making it in America and um, maybe you know maybe it's not coming from like you could question where that's coming from. Like you could say, it's just because they hate PBC or oh, it's because it's like, but we can't ignore the fact that they have a point. They make a very good point when they say like none of this would have unraveled or happened if he wasn't hell bent on trying to make it in America. While I admire his pursuit of that, right? At the same time, they're not wrong when they say none of this would have happened. I can't turn around and be like, "Oh, you're wrong about that." I can't say that. Right? I can't say, "You know what? Now you're wrong." There is a very bad pattern with PBC. There's a very bad pattern with keeping fighters inactive. A very bad pattern not being able to make fights happen. Like there's a bad pattern in not making the right moves. The reality is that they didn't deliver on that Jermell Charlo fight. Now you could say, well, that's Jermell. Jermell made. I can't blame him. He went up to fight Canelo. We're not playing blame game. We're just calling balls and strikes, spades. The reality is they didn't deliver what you were out and set to do. They gave you alternatives. Tony Harrison goes to Sydney. It's a big event over there. It's a big deal. Gets that win. Mendoza goes to, I think it was the Gold Coast over there. Yet again, and this was done after Jermell didn't deliver. And this is what was when Glenn Jennings, the reality is Glenn Jennings was on my podcast and said, oh yeah, the fight with Jermell Charlo is imminent. It's going to be announced anytime now. We're just waiting on the paperwork, pretty much what he said, to the point where Fox Sports Australia and Main Event, a big platform over there, used that quote, even cited my podcast. Shout out to them, right? And announced to everybody that that Jermell fight's about to happen. Everybody was excited. And then, out of nowhere, Jermell Charlo is announced to be fighting Canelo Alvarez. And obviously, Tim Tszyu upset about it. But at that point, maybe you should look for other options. And even if you didn't, right? they stayed loyal to PBC, although he was fighting in Australia in 2024, all successful events, right? And but it's this whole like I'm never gonna come back here. I'm gonna go to America. That's where I gotta go. That's where I gotta make it. And I'm gonna go with PBC. I trust in them. Even after all that. And while I admire the fact that he took on Sebastian Fundora, right? I don't have a problem with it that he took it last minute. But in hindsight, it's 2020. Maybe you should have sat it out. Maybe you should have said, "Look, it's not my problem that that motherfucker Keith Thurman got injured, and I'm the champ. I'm the draw, especially in Australia. I'm gonna sit this one out." It wasn't on you. It wasn't on Tim Tszyu to save that PBC event. It's not your job to save an event if it's not your fault that it's going to fall apart. And that is the lesson moving forward is if something similar happens again, nah, I'm good. And so now you have to learn from that, right? So this is where reflection comes in. If you're coming off a loss, even though I know the conventional wisdom is, hey, you're getting a title shot, why not? You got to take it. Says who? Why do you have to take it? Now, I'm not playing. Look, I'm not going to Monday morning quarterback it. Nobody was picking Merzali to win. Um, Tim was a big favorite, but nonetheless, you got to look at the circumstances. You got to look at all of it and learn from it. Like you have to reflect on it. So what does that mean for Tim Tszyu? Tim Tszyu needs to be selfisher. He needs to be selfish and he needs to make decisions for himself moving forward. That guy got injured. You want to put me in the ring with somebody completely different? No, I'm good. I just come off a loss. You want me to go in there with another champion? No, I'm good. Now, even if he doesn't, like if he decides same scenario, I would change nothing. I would still do it. Look, I still admire it. I still think the guy's a fighter's fighter. I think that's what I like about fighters. I want fighters to go for it, but at this point moving forward, it would be best to think in a more selfish manner if I was Tim Tszyu. Oh, but the PBC event's gonna fall apart, and if you're not like, hey, I'm not the one that got injured, bro. Right? It's just it's he needs to think in a more selfish manner. Um, Now, what does he need to do? Like, look, it's just my opinion. This is nothing personal against his trainer. I know his trainer's his uncle. It's something personal, but it's time to move on. And if he decides not to move on, fine. But he needs to move on from there. He needs to just like performance matters. And the reality is he's not progressing at all as a fighter under Igor. I'm sure Igor's a nice guy. I'm sure he's a good person. I'm sure I briefly met him once. He's cool dude. Like it's nothing against him. It's not personal, right? I know it's family. I know it could get awkward. I know it's like weird. It's and if this somehow gets out there to Igor or to people that know him, just make it easy on Tim and sit down. It's time for Tim Tszyu to get a world class trainer. um, to at least give that a shot, right? Someone for hire. And it may not even work. Look, it may be too late. It may not be enough anyway, but at least you give that a shot. It's time for Tim Tszyu to work with a world-class trainer, someone who's known, maybe a Robert Garcia, somebody said Freddie Roach, whatever it is. That's the next order of business that he needs to do. And he needs to surround himself in gyms where he's not the best guy in the gym. And have a trainer that's going to keep it real with them and but that's what he needs to do next. Like that, period. Like there's no way around it. And I've personally, in my last interview with Glenn Jennings, flat out asked him, is there any plan to move on from, Igor? And the answer was no. It was a flat no, stern no, right? Well, I don't know. You got to rethink that. You got to rethink it. Point blank. You got to rethink that shit because you are 1-3 in your last 4, right? And you're 0-3 in championship fights. And how many total rounds did you win in those 3 fights? 5, 6 at the most in 3 of them. How many rounds did Tim Tszyu win in the Mortazalia fight and in the rematch of Fundora? Results matter, right? If people are looking at the fight, even world-class trainers are watching saying, I don't know what the game plan was. Like that is something that you need to analyze and look at, right? Now, fortunately for Tim Tszyu, he has the name, and he's an attraction in his country, so no one's gonna just forget about him and he's gone for 6 months. He always has that home field he could fight in, right, to rebuild, and that's what they need to do. That's what they should have done. That's what I had suggested. What they need to do is rebuild. First order of business, get in the ring with somebody. I don't care if it's some Thai fighter, whatever. Not beat them up, knock them out, confidence booster. But the confidence booster, it's not confidence booster and put him back in there with a world-class fighter. No. You have to rebuild back to that stage. Yes, he's going to feel chingon. He's going to feel like a badass after he fucks up some dude, right? And think he'll conquer the world, but he's not ready to conquer the world. He needs to be rebuilt. And at this point, I've seen the name said several times, and I agree. It's time to fight Zerafa. I don't want to hear, oh, he's not on my level. Bro, you've been knocked back down to that level. Zerafa got knocked out every time he stepped up. I mean, it's not that different. That's just a cold hard truth. Now, do I think Tim is better than Zerafa? Yes, I do. I think Tim's ceiling is a lot higher, right? But as of right now, there's no need to act like you're above that. There's no need to do it. I think that should be the next fight where you build a collision course, and but I think at least 2 fights, Zerafa, because if you can't beat Zerafa, you're done, bro. Right? But Zerafa, he's like your arch nemesis over there in Australia. He's Zerafa's kind of between he's like too good for the domestic guys, but he can't get over the hump when he fights the elites. So that's the type of dude he should be fighting, right? Like right now. And that's a guy that's gonna like if you can't get up for Zerafa, if you can't get up against a guy that's talked all the shit about you over all these years, if you can't get up for that fight, then you're done. You'll know you're done, right? After he beats Zerafa, then you can start analyzing what you do from there, right? But to me, he needs to switch trainers, and they need to have a long-term plan. They need to rebuild from the ground up. It starts with a foundation, right? Build the foundation again, and then start building from there. And JC says pro box. You gotta go to pro box. You gotta go to pro box. I think he'll be fine. He'll be on no limit pay per view over there in Australia. You can bring guys from the U.S. over to Australia to fight you. You don't need to go to them. Make them the away fighter. Make them have to travel and go to you. Like what? Like it's just that's just where you are at the moment. And I understand if he crashes and he burns, he still believes that's cool. But there's nothing wrong with having a plan. There's nothing wrong with having a plan. Nothing. Like the way I see it is, you need to learn. I get a lot of people are criticizing you based off hindsight, and they're hindsight's 2020, and they're criticizing you from that perspective. I get that. It's easy for them to say, I get it. Trust me. I understand. But the reality is this. Just because they're playing hindsight, just because hindsight is 2020, just because they're playing Monday morning quarterback, it doesn't mean that what they're saying is wrong. Yes, they're acting as if they knew all along, and they didn't, right? Nobody knew. But you still need to learn from it. Three to five tune-ups. I think you build up to a Zarafa fight. Once you get past Zarafa, you do another step up from there, and then and he needs to have it takes discipline to have that patience to wait. Like it's you're not in a if you would have beat Fundor, that's a different story, but you didn't win. So the redemption arc has to be a long one. Give yourself the best possible shot to win, right? And to be successful. It's going to be a long road. Like literally, Tim's next fight needs to be almost. People are supposed to say, like. Let me put it this way: if people aren't saying, "Man, I can't believe Tszyu's fighting that dude now," if they're not saying that for his next fight, then you're doing it wrong. You're supposed to fight somebody where people are like, "Man, I can't believe you went back down to fight dudes like that." Go back to fight dudes like that once or twice, then you step up. Then you do a Zarafa fight, and then you go from there. Because let me tell you something, man. It's gonna be a sad day if you just jump at the opportunity. Well, I get to fight in America again. Oh, there's a title shot again. Okay, I'll do it. Right? And people will admire you for it. They'll call you a warrior for it. But then guess what? Then you're gonna lose again because you haven't learned anything. Because you're basically like, you are where you are right now. So that is just a cold, hard truth, in my opinion. That is just a reality. Oh, you could go way lower than Joey Spencer, Eric Gomez. Way lower than that. So, Joey Spencer, one of Ramos's best wins. So, you know what I mean? So it is what it is. Um, but that is that. You know what I mean? But look, if you got to fight 2, 3 Joey Spencers, I would still do the Zarafa fight, and just go from there. All right. I'm out, guys. Peace.